Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing the 20 questions book tag. So I was tagged to do this by Star Reads YA, so thank you Star for tagging me in this. And this is generally a tag basically on reader preferences, but it has some like questions in there where it's like asking favorite books and things like that. So it's a little mix of everything. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it. So the first question is, how many books is too many books in a book series? So for me, I think once it gets to six, that's like the perfect amount. Anything after that, I think, is just kind of overkill and they don't need to keep going. So yeah, like six is like my perfect number. Obviously, I really like trilogies. So if they do like two trilogies, then that's cool. Or if they do like a little bit longer of a series, like four books, and then have two books to like finish it up or add some more to the series, that's okay. But like I just feel like after six books, I'm tired of whatever like the series is about and I just want to move on to the next thing. So, yeah, that would be my ideal number. Then next up is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? And I actually don't mind cliffhangers. I think they're okay at the end of a book as long as there is some conclusion eventually. So obviously, like, I would not like a cliffhanger if it was the last book in a trilogy or the last book in a series. I think that would be very stupid. But if it's like the second book going into the third book and it's a cliffhanger, then I'm totally okay with it because I know that there's going to be a conclusion coming. I just like I need that conclusion eventually. So as long as it gets there at some point, I'm okay with it. Then we have hardcover or paperback, and I've pretty much said this all the time. Like, I love paperbacks, and I like paperbacks because you can hold them easily in one hand while doing other things. I mean, hardcovers, you can do that too, but like, there's nothing like holding a floppy paperback and just having that. I don't know, like, it's just such a cool feeling to have a floppy paperback. I feel like hardcovers too, like, you can definitely hold them in one hand, but it's harder to like maneuver, whereas a floppy paperback is just like flopping around. It's very easy. So I don't know. I just really like paperbacks. And I also like paperbacks because they're cheaper. And that way I don't feel like if I actually damage the book by accident or something happens to it, like I don't feel really bad about it because it's a paperback and I could easily get another one, where hardbacks are more expensive. So that comes into play. Then we have favorite book, and that is Red Rising, which is right over here. I only have the hardcover here right now. I actually lent out the paperback cover to our friend, so he's reading it right now, and I'm excited to see what he thinks about it because, yeah, it's my favorite book. So like, I want to know what people think about it when they read it, and yeah, I'm really curious to find out his thoughts. My least favorite book would be this is one that I actually read pretty recently. It was for my blog, and this is called Delivering Virtue. I detested this book. The rating just kept going down further and further as I read it, and I could not stand it. It was not a book for me. I don't know if it's really a book for anybody, just because of the different things that happened in that book. That, like, if this book needed trigger warnings, there would be a lot of trigger warnings. So yeah, and they were like unnecessarily put in there too, which is why I didn't like it. But yeah, so that's the book. Love triangles, yes or no? I'll say yes, because like honestly, some love triangles can be really fun in books, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's entertaining to me to see what the character is going to do when they have multiple choices to choose from and all these different things that are weighing down on them. I think it's kind of hilarious. So like, I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people don't like them, but honestly, I don't mind them. I find that sometimes they bring a lot of entertaining factors to a book. Next up is the most recent book you couldn't finish. And like, I don't really have an answer for this because I pretty much finish all the books I start because I force myself to. I'm not really a big DNFer. I tend to finish all the books so that I can give like a very honest review of it when I do my review. And so like, it's really hard for me to think of a book that I didn't finish. Like, obviously I've talked about not finishing Cloud Atlas when I was in school. Another thing that I didn't finish would be textbooks from school. Like, I had to read some photography textbooks that I definitely started skimming and then just stopped reading altogether. So I guess I could say that. But other than that, like, I tend to finish most of the books that I start. Then next up we have what are you currently reading? And so right now I'm currently reading Boy Meets Boy, and this is a contemporary LGBTQ plus book. It's about a boy who is openly gay in high school and he meets another boy, and obviously things go from there, and we'll see where it takes us. I am just over halfway through this book. I read a big chunk of it while I was doing reading sprints the other night, so that helped me get a little bit through it. I don't really know if I'm enjoying it that much right now. Like, I kind of feel a little bit bored, and not really a lot is happening. So, like, I hope that it starts picking up a little bit more near the end, but we'll see how it goes. Then we have the last book you recommended to someone, and I was going to say Red Rising because we just like gave it to our friend to read, but I actually connected with another person through blogging and recommended Illuminate to them because they asked me for a recommendation or to link to a recommendation from my blog. So I gave them my blog post of me gushing about Illuminate and recommended that to them. So yeah, you should definitely check out Illuminate if you haven't. Then we have the oldest book that you've read. So like this is the oldest publication date, and for this one, I would probably have to say the Bible because like I've read the Bible and it's a very long book, first of all, because it's composed of multiple books by multiple people. And so that one was a chunker. It was basically what I would do during church is I would read the Bible during church instead of actually like listening to the sermons and things like that, because I was a kid who just wanted to read and like consume everything that I could. So I read the Bible and yeah, I think that's the oldest book I've ever read that I can think of. So yeah. Next up we have the newest, most recent publication like date book that you've read. And I don't really know what like the newest is. I know that I'm going to be reading one that I'm very excited about, and that one's called Gear Breakers by Zoe Hanna, and this is essentially like a take on Pacific Rim, and so I'm like super excited about that book. I actually just got my e-arc of it the other day, so I'm really excited to dive into that one. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it yet. It comes out in June, so yeah, like hopefully I get to it before then. But I'm so pumped because like it sounds awesome. Pacific Rim is really cool, so in like a book format, I'm here for it. Then we have favorite author, and so that is Pierce Brown because my favorite book is Red Rising. So Pierce Brown is the author of that trilogy, and yeah, he's my favorite author. Buying books or borrowing books? I like buying books, and that's mainly because I'm like a collector at heart. I like to have a collection of things. As you can see behind me, Marcus and I are both collectors. We like to show off our collection. This is our living room. We don't even have a TV in our living room. It's just a literal wall of books. And so, yeah, we like to buy books. And we will try and buy books at the used bookstore first before we go to like the mainstream bookstores, because if we can get them cheaper, then we will. And who doesn't love finding like a steal at a bookstore? So, yeah. But yeah, we just like to like own the books ourselves. So, that's it. Then we have a book that you seem to dislike that everyone else seems to love. So for this one, I chose Addie LaRue, and I know that there's like polarizing opinions on this book, but I I just didn't enjoy it, and like that was just my personal feelings on it. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. I didn't, and it's just because it's a very character driven book with not much plot happening, and I'm a plot driven reader, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Bookmarks or dog ears? Bookmarks. 100% bookmarks. I mean, you can do whatever you want with your books, but don't dog ear them. Just don't do it. I mean, you can because you own them, but don't do it. A book you can always reread. I don't really reread that often, but I feel like I could reread The Hunger Games a lot and just keep going back to it because I've watched the movies for The Hunger Games like countless times. I don't even know how many times I've watched that over and over again. But the feeling I got when I read that book for the first time was just awesome, and I feel like rereading it would just give me that feeling again. So I feel like that's one that I could always dive back and just enjoy again. Can you read while hearing music? Yeah, I can definitely read while hearing music. I actually find it very soothing to read in like a small like cafe or a coffee shop because I don't know, like just the ambient noise in the background, like behind me while I'm reading, it's just very nice. It helps me focus even more on the book at hand and like just read faster, I find. When there's absolute silence, I don't really like that very much. And it's kind of funny because Marcus tells me that I'm like a fidgeter when I'm reading, which is very true. Like I'm always kind of like moving around or like doing something with my hands, but like I'm making noise. And that's like comforting to me in some weird way. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just a weird reader. One POV or multiple POVs? I think I like multiple POVs more because I find that you get different aspects of the story that you wouldn't get with just one point of view. And I really like seeing how all the different characters are feeling without you trying to have to interpret how they're feeling from the one point of view. You actually get to understand who they are as a character, and I think it makes the like reading more diverse and enriching as a whole. So I would definitely prefer multiple POVs over one POV. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Come on now. Have you guys met me? I take a long time to read anything. So multiple days is definitely the answer for that question. I'm not the fastest reader. Yeah, that's me. And then, of course, the last question is who do you tag? So for this one, I'm going to tag Kirsten's Corner, Rise Reading Corner, and Brooke Writes. Obviously, you guys, you don't have to do this tag. I'm just tagging you because I love your videos and love watching your content, so it'd be cool to see you do the tag, but there is absolutely no pressure. Also, if anybody else wants to do this tag, feel free to do it. I'll put all the questions in the description down below, so they are there for you, as well as a link to Star's video who tagged me. Let me know in the comments down below what you would have answered for some of these questions. You don't have to answer all of them, but like if any of these questions really stood out to you, let me know what you would have answered because I like to see how people difference in reading tastes than I do. Anyways, that's it for the video, guys. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post new videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.